for a roll call.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask if there are any other nominations. Hearing none, I now close the nominations, and I will now take a roll call vote. Please indicate your selection by stating the last name of the candidate, and there is only one candidate, Melissa Mark-Viverito. So please call her by name. Arroyo.
Mark-Viverito.
Barron.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Cabrera.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Chin.
Can I have a minute to explain my vote?
Sure.
First, I would like to thank all the candidates who were the speaker candidate for this city council. And I also want to say thank you to Dan. And I want to say that I respect you, Dan, tremendously. And I greatly appreciate your support this past year. And I enjoyed working with you. And I look forward to working with you over the next 4 years. And I think you are a smart, capable, caring leader. And I'm so glad that it all worked out. And I know Melissa in the city council, and I know she will be a great speaker. New York City is a progressive city, a city that voted loudly and clearly for a progressive future. I think Melissa will be a true partner as we work together to ensure that every New Yorker can build a better life here. And from a personal note, as a woman of color, I am so excited to be casting my vote to elect the first woman of color and a Latina to the city council seat. So I'm casting my vote for Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Thank you. Cohen.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Constantinides.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Cornegi.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Crowley.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Cumbo.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Deutsch.
Madam Speaker, Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Dickens.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Drum.
Very proudly cast my vote for Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Espinal.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Eugene.
Can I change my vote, please?
Sure.
Thank you very much. I didn't have any intent to speak, but I feel compelled to do that. First of all, let me commend and thank Donald for doing the right thing for the entire city council and also for the New York City. And I think this is a very good example of how all of us we should come together to do the business of the city of New York. As the first Asian American elected to the city council, I feel proud to be part of the history and to vote for the first Latina speaker of the city council, Melissa Mark-Viverito. Thank you.
Ferreras.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Garodny.
Mark-Viverito.
Gentili.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Gibson.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Greenfield.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Ignizio.
MMV.
Johnson.
Mr. Clerk, may I explain my vote?
So
Mr. Clerk, I had no intention of speaking as well today, but I think it's a tremendous occasion, and I rise to wholeheartedly support Melissa Mark-Viverito to be our next speaker. I want to take a moment to acknowledge what was said earlier, which was a spirited contest, one of the most open and I believe transparent processes that has ever occurred in the race for New York City Speaker. And Dan Garodny is a friend, an able, principled, smart, progressive elected official who has shown his mettle and has been, I believe, a star in the New York City Council. So I appreciate what Dan said, and my hope is that under Speaker Mark-Viverito's very capable and talented leadership, that this body will come together, get to work, fight and work on behalf of everyday average New Yorkers who are trying to make ends meet. As one of 6 openly LGBT members of the New York City Council, as someone whose father was a Teamster and who grew up in public housing, I proudly cast my vote today for Melissa Mark-Viverito, who has fought on behalf of those who have been disadvantaged and without a voice in city government. So I stand today to support her and to thank Dan for all of his work that he has done, and I look forward to working with both of them in the City Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Kalos.
May I explain my vote?
So moved.
I'd like to acknowledge a longtime friend, colleague, now colleague, mentor, Dan Garodnick. You're a model public servant and you're dedicated to the greater good. I think your actions today speak loud and clear. Thank you. The New York Times has said that the next speaker will be judged by her independence, the ability to reform council rules, to introduce transparency and accountability. Melissa Mark-Viverito is far and away one of the council's most independent. I worked with her in the caucus that she founded on drafting rules reforms and was elected on a platform of transparency and accountability that I am sure we can deliver together. I am proud to cast my vote for Melissa Mark-Viverito.
King.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Ku.
Mr. Clerk, can I explain my vote?
So moved.
My fellow colleagues, today we are very happy here to congratulate Melissa Mark-Viverito to be our next speaker. This is a historic moment, historic day. The first woman of color to be our next speaker. When we did the pledge when we did the oath of office today, we all have white hand, and if you look at our white hand, we have 5 fingers. Each finger represents one of the poles. Each finger has to work together. The hand, if you chop off 1 finger or 2 fingers, it won't be a cohesive body. So my say is no. From now on, we will work together as a cohesive body. New York City is one of the greatest cities in the whole world. It's the financial center of the whole world. So we have to do things right in order for us to thrive and continue to be the greatest city of the world. So I hope we'll work together. From today on, we forget our past and work together for full cooperation. And this morning, when I left my home, I told my wife, hey, say, honey, from now on, we will start more progressive food.
Thank you. Koslowitz.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Lansing. Mark-Viverito. Lander.
Request permission to explain my vote.
So moved.
With deep admiration and congratulations to my friend and our new leader, who I know will be a smart, fair, inclusive, and transformative speaker of this council. With very real gratitude to our friend Dan Garodnick for helping to bring this body together in the best spirit of unity and service. With a hearty welcome to our new colleagues whose passion to serve their districts is already very clear, making some of us look old and slow. With resolute optimism that under her leadership we will build a more transparent, effective, responsive city council that enables all of us to represent and serve our constituents and to create a more just, vibrant, and compassionate New York City. I proudly cast my vote for Melissa Mark-Viverito as the next speaker.
Thank you. Levin.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Levine.
Mr. Clerk, a brief moment to explain my vote.
Sure.
I'm good at this. Antes que nada quería reconocer que es un momento importantísimo para la ciudad de Nueva York. Es imprescindible, es impostergable que tengamos un liderazgo progresista tal y como es el liderazgo de la concejal Melissa Mark-Viverito. And I want to say this moment demands a fierce determination to advance an agenda of social and economic justice. This is a philosophy I hold, that I know the vast majority of you hold, and I know for sure Councilmember Mark-Viverito holds. That's why I'm proud to support him here.
Myself.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Mark-Viverito.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Mario. Mark-Viverito. Neely.
Mark-Viverito.
Menchaca.
May I have a few minutes to explain my vote?
So
Second, I dedicate my vote to the working families, to immigrants, to the LGBT community, to those who are still recovering from Superstorm Sandy. Con orgullo, I vote for Melissa Mark-Viverito. Thank you.
Thank you. Mendez.
Permission to explain my vote?
So
Thank you. Oh, I turned it off. Thank you. I'm going to do the Robert Jackson. Colleagues, I rise. Just cause. I think I've been in a unique position as opposed to all of my colleagues because I knew Melissa and Dan before any of us served in the city council. We were friends and we were involved in struggles. Dan and I working for our communities that now border what is now our districts, Kicks Bay, Gramercy Park, parts of Murray Hill. And Melissa and I became good friends in our struggle to stop the naval occupation of Vieques, Puerto Rico. And then we've been involved in many struggles since. I am very happy we are coming together as a body today y con mucho orgullo. Nuestra portavoz, I vote for Melissa Mark-Viverito. Thank you.
Miller.
Mr. Kirk.
Mr. Kirk, one more. Sure. On behalf of the people of the 27th District and the working families throughout the city of New York, I cast my vote, my good friend, and more than confident leader, Melissa Mark-Viverito. And to Dan, I'd like to say thank you for bringing the body together. Thank you for your efforts of coming out and the support that you've given myself and the other new members. And I'm sure that we'll be doing all this work. Thank you.
Palmer. Reynoso.
Sir Clerk, can I get a moment to explain my vote?
So
Mi gente, llegó la salsa al Consejo Municipal. Prepárense, por favor. Y nada más quiero decir que con orgullo, es un placer poder votar por ahora nuestra portavoz, Melissa Mark-Viverito. Gracias.
Richards.
Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Rodriguez.
May I explain my vote?
Sure.
First of all, I would like to dedicate my vote to the 70% of New Yorkers who in the last general election say that there's too New York and that we have a responsibility to close that gap. That we need to provide middle class and working class an opportunity to excel. That every children should start the first line running a marathon to know what it is to get quality education. I would like to thank Dan for his leadership and years in services, but also I would like to dedicate this day to Richie Perez, who also was a great champion. Someone that believed that Latino should have a place in this city. You know, there's a lot that we have to do. We are New Yorkers. I'm so proud to say that since my 18 years old, I've been living in this city. And from that day on, I've been getting a lot of opportunity. But I never thought that one day I would see someone who came from another country, from Puerto Rico, who know what it is to be immigrants, who not necessarily face the same issue of undocumented people, but she embraced it at her own cost. So para mí es un día muy importante poder decir de que hoy podemos dedicar este día a Richie, lo podemos dedicar al 70% de los neoyorquinos que en las elecciones anteriores dijeron, hay dos Nueva York, el de los pobres y el de los ricos, y tenemos que cerrar la brecha en esos dos Nueva York. Today we can say that New York City will have two more progressive leaders in our history, in our Mayor Bill de Blasio and our Speaker, Melissa Mark-Viverito. I also like to say thank you to SECA for believing in this effort, and all 31 members who will stick together, and the 20 council members who joined us today, saying we have one body that from now on will be moving closing this gap between the 1% and the 99%. Long live the Wall Street Occupy movement.
Thank you. Rose.
I'd like to explain my vote.
Sure.
I'd just like to say to Dan Garodnick that you are really a class act and so gracious. This could have had a very different outcome this morning, and it's your leadership that brought us to this point today. I want to say to my friend Melissa, expectations are very high at first, and I know that to whom much is given, much is required, and I know that you are more than capable to do this job, will handle it well, and hit the ground running. And I want to say, women rock. And I cast my vote for Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Thank you. Rosenthal.
May I have a moment to speak?
Sure.
Melissa, as you know, I represent the Upper West Side of Manhattan, which, as you know, has a tradition of strong, smart, independent women. And I'm very proud now to hold the seat, and I'm very proud to cast my vote for you in that same tradition of very strong, very smart, very independent women. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember Torres.
Well, I explained my vote, so Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Trader.
Permission to explain my vote?
So
what we witnessed earlier by the embrace by Dan Garodnick and Melissa Mark-Viverito is further proof that public service and our democracy is not a blood sport. It's an honorable enterprise. And I thank them both for their leadership and the example they just set for our entire body in the city of New York. And only in America can the first Russian-speaking member of the City Council help elect the first Latin American woman to the Speaker of the New York City Council. I cast my vote for Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Ulrich.
Melissa Mark-Viverito. Vaca. Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Below.
A brief moment, Mr. Clerk.
So
I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, walking through these doors for the first time with my wife this morning and seeing history be made, a unique perspective I have, because the shoes, Madam Speaker, that you're about to fill were first created by my father, the first Speaker. Just God bless to everyone. Made us all very proud. Dad, we love you. And everybody did it. Madam Speaker. And Dan, way to go.
Thank you. Ben Brady.
With permission to briefly explain my vote. First of all, I want to echo all the kind words about Councilmember Dan Garodnick, who is one of the smartest and one of the finest public servants that I've ever known. And I thank him for everything he has done today and everything that he will do in public service. I also want to say I take this vote incredibly seriously because in many ways I feel like I wasn't supposed to be here. I vote for Speaker Melissa Mark-Viverito first and foremost in honor of my mother. And you see, Melissa's mother is here, so she knows the pride. But my mother was a cashier at a supermarket, and I was raised by her and my stepfather, who was a janitor and a school cleaner. And everything that I do, and everything that my public service career is about making lives better and easier for families like mine. Families in New York City who struggle to pay the rent, who worry about the welfare of their children. And I am so clear that to the core, that is my mission. That is why I ran for office. It is those families that I come from and that I believe in. And it is with my mother in mind, who is a strong woman, but who none of the cameras and the press ever saw go to work, that I vote for Speaker Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Weapon.
Permission to explain my vote, please, Mr. Clerk. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I want to first congratulate all my colleagues for their re-election, and those who are new, congratulate you all. This has been a long few months, I have to say, and I'm really proud to be an elected official and delighted to be a member of this body. As many of you know, I was running for Speaker of the Council as well, and had the pleasure of meeting with all of you in your districts and with you and learning about you and your family. I was very passionate in what I did, and talked about, and the reforms I talked about for this body, I meant with all sincerity. And that's one thing I'm proud of. Everything I said was the truth, and I spoke to my heart, I sang, I danced, whatever it took. We need to work as a body. I've said that all along. We need to be a united unit, working together, liking each other, which we're going to work on, and we are going to like each other. Because if we're unified and respect each other, we can get things done.
That's right.
One of the things I talked about is we shouldn't be afraid of dissent. We shouldn't be afraid of debate, of discussion. There's really nothing wrong with that. That's democracy. I was going to make the same speech, maybe emphasizing that debate part more. Because even if we were voting for different candidates, I don't think it would make a difference. Because I'm committed to this body. And I'm committed to the hard-working elected officials who are sitting here, who I've gotten to know and I like. And I want to fight for that. And I'm looking forward to working with our new mayor. We have a lot in common, he and I. We're about the same age. We're both out-of-borough public school parents. He's 6'5". I was born on 6'5". But we have a job to do, work with him on things that are important to our districts, but also work to oversight his agencies and to be an independent body and to do our charter-mandated job of being the city council. Let me just finish up, because I want to just first compliment all of the other speaker candidates who really all did a wonderful job, and I made a statement. I was impressed with all of them, and I couldn't be proud to stand with any of them. I got to signal out Dan first, just because the last few weeks have been very tough on a lot of us, but especially tough on Dan. He has been strong. He has been incredibly classy in the way he's handled himself with us, so I want to congratulate him as well. He's a good friend of mine. We sat together. It's been a lot for the last few months, but it's been great to be his friend. And then lastly, Melissa. Melissa, I have the utmost respect for you. I've said that all along. It's not inconsistent. Well, I'm not well beneath this in any way, saying that respect you, I like you, I look forward to working with you. You are a very smart, strong-willed woman who's going to run a very tight ship and a good ship, including us all. And I know the people around you are going to insist on that. And my commitment is to work with you. And I'm happy we're together today because we need to be unified. We need to be a strong body because I want to represent my district to the best of my ability and represent this city as an independent council working with our mayor but standing up for what we think is right. So congratulations, Melissa, and all the best.
Thank you. Williams.
I'm going to vote for myself, but I knew I dropped out of it. First, I just want to say thank you to Dr. Rodney, whom I consider a friend of this council. It should not be lost, the leadership that you showed today. You took this thing as far as you should, as someone who's contending, as someone who's fighting, that's what democracy is about. But you showed leadership and said the institution is stronger than any one person. And that should not be forgotten after today. And I look forward to continue working on the things as Bill moves over. I continue look forward to working on the things that we've all been working on. And I really appreciate it. When I went into the race a few weeks ago, one of my main things was to make sure that the issue of diversity was not lost. I'm very happy and thank you to all of us who ran. That it was a good selection of qualified people who ran. I'm happy that diversity question was still discussed. People used to not listen to Councilman Barron when he talked about all the paintings that were in the lack of diversity. It is important to people who are not represented. So that question has always got to be asked. And I know that my mother, when I was giving her all the trouble I was giving her, did not think I would grow up and be the first Canadian American council member. Did not think for all the things I was going through with Tourette syndrome in school that I'd be here fighting for justice issues. But I am in fact here, and I'm proud that I'm able to vote for someone who is going to be the first person of color ever elected in this body and be the first Latina to be a leader citywide. That is very, very amazing, and I'm so proud to do it for my Haitian constituents. I say très bien. I don't speak Spanish, but I know this is muy, muy, muy bueno. Muy bien. What did I say? But I am excited that we have come together today. And I hope we all remember now the hard work of responsible governing that the people who voted us all in are expecting us to do together to hold the mayor accountable but move forward progressively is now beginning. And I vote for Melissa Mark-Viverito.
Willis.
I could just take my time on the last person to vote to the city on time.
Please not.
You know, a few months ago we sat in the same chambers and we had a lot of media reports and things we were debating the CSA legislation. They said the council was torn apart and we would never be unified, we would never go together on a lot of different things. And once again, it seems like we're proving not only the city, the state, but federal law, a lot of media outlets and different things like that say we cannot come together over our differences. We're a typical legislative body. Today, I think with this unanimous, with the leadership of Dan Garodnick bringing the council together behind MMV, I think that we should have that noted today, and that should be something that should be noted tomorrow in every one of these media outlets, whether it be print or to television. So I cast my vote for MMV today. Congratulations, Madam Speaker.
By a unanimous vote of all 51 members of the New York City Council, the council member duly elected as the Speaker of the Council of the City of New York for the term commencing January 1, 2014, and terminating December 31st, 2017.
Three hugs. Oh, you gotta get you get fired.
A lot of heat here.